Hey, what's happening, everybody? So I'm here on another one of my job sites. This is a 5,200 square foot slab that we're pouring. This is for a custom home. There's a lot happening here, and I'm going to turn my camera around and show you. So custom homes have a lot of different elements and moving parts that you might not see on commercial or tract home development. And so here, we're in a liquefaction zone, and we have groundwater. So we're off of Sunset Boulevard up on Beverly Glen, and so we've installed an under-mat waterproofing membrane, and we've sealed that to all the face of the footings and grade beams using a Tremco product for waterproofing. We've got a lot happening. We've got depressions for Fleetwood doors. Those doors have integral drainage systems. So I could sit here and talk for hours at a time, but I want to share briefly with you what's happening. I'm right in the middle of a concrete pour. I have a boom pump set up, and if you haven't ever seen a boom pump versus a trailer pump, I'm going to flip my camera around so you can see that. I'll do that now. So you can see here, there's our boom pump. So there's my buddies from Concrete Placement. Now that boom pump, that has a 40-meter reach. And so I'm standing about 120 feet away. Now what we're doing is we're pouring all of our interior shear walls first. You see these 2x4s here. They're holding bolts, anchor bolts, and threaded rod for our hold downs in place. We're pouring these areas first so that we can try and bed the concrete, or at least let that concrete set up first. So once that concrete sets up, our bolts remain in place. That way we can remove the forming that's holding them in place or suspending them. That's what we call a floating form. So once we get that floating form out and we start placing the field area of this slab, we can shoot elevation. So I have a transit level on site. We shoot elevations to make sure that this slab is perfect, or as close to perfect as flat as possible. Now this home is going to have finished marble floors, so we need to make sure that this slab doesn't waver in elevation. So I'm going to turn my camera back around and just show you some of the things that we do to be able to assist us in keeping the slab level where it needs to be. So we're making makeshift screed markers, and so we use this plywood and 2x4, and we mark our finished slab height elevation. And what we do is we'll take these 2x4s and set them in place so we can finish across those, and in these sections we can make sure that the infield of the slab area is level with the exterior. Now this here, you can see this is the form that we've set in place to create a depression for our Fleetwood doors. So those Fleetwood doors, they have so in this area here, this is a big pocket door, and so this is a living room. We've got a 30-foot multi-slider door coming in from Fleetwood, and those Fleetwood door tracks actually have integral drains. A lot of builders do it wrong. They'll use regular subsill or regular track systems, then they tile up to the edge of those tracks, they cover the weep holes in those standard tracks, and then you have big problems down the road with water intrusion or water coming inside and up under your floors. So we're taking our time to make sure that we're following every detail possible, because on these custom homes you can't miss a detail. We've got in-ground electrical for floor mount outlets, and I have to take into account, there's our laser. You can see our laser in the background, and as we're pouring concrete, we shoot the elevations in multiple different areas of this slab to make sure that the guys are finishing it right. You don't want to build, you don't want to pour a 5,200 square foot slab and just feel it waver, like you're sporting waves throughout the slab. Then you have to come in and level it or top coat it. And so we've got a lot of steel in this project. So all of the steel, this is the Simpson moment frame that we've stood in place. Now, all of these steel columns have to be hidden properly and laid out correctly so that they're within all of our walls. So if we're off by just a 1/4 inch or even 5/8 of an inch, you got walls that are moving, and that can't happen if you're backing restrooms up together and you have plumbing in the walls. So a lot of our plumbing here, we've done a lot of coordination to make sure that everything is in place. Underground plumbing, underground electrical, steel layout. So we do work with detailers that work on providing shop drawings, and we'll send that to the architect for review, send that to the structural engineer for review and approval, and we don't move forward unless the entire team ensures that everything is in place. Now you can see here, this is the under slab membrane that we've set, and you can see the black mastic that's what we seal the edges of this with. So this is not only a vapor barrier, but also a moisture barrier to prevent any moisture coming up from beneath that slab that will travel through that slab and then ultimately into the flooring below. So you see the guys there, we got the pump in the air. It's an exciting day. We've been waiting a while to get this done. Now back here in this area, that's the next exciting video that we'll post. We actually have an ADU with a basement. So we've excavated 14 feet deep here, and I'll be posting some of that once we're further along. You can see my excavator there, and then we've got shoring and lagging that's in place to enable us to excavate without undermining the adjacent property. So I'm going to walk through here, and you can just see what's happening and what the guys are doing. Now we also have an elevator here, so you'll see there's an elevator pit here. So we've actually had to form and box that out. There's my boom pump operator. He's standing there with his remote, so it's remote control. And we're pouring the mud, we're pouring concrete. So this is a very large pour. Like I said, it's 5,200 square feet. Overall, the square footage of the home and the ADU equal to a little over 10,000 square feet. So this is a very large project for a residential home. Continue to watch us. You'll see the finished slab and the condition of that slab, and the next phase we'll start erecting steel. So you can see here we've got beams that come across all of these steel posts, and they'll connect, and that's what creates the second floor structure. So thanks for watching us. This is a structural waffle slab. It has grade beams throughout because the soil was deemed unsuitable to build. So we have 36 inch by 36 inch grade beams that run throughout the entirety of this slab. It's a 6-inch structural slab, and it's almost a floating structural mat. It does not bear on the soil. It doesn't pull its bearing from the soil. It's from the actual structurally engineered foundation. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you some great progress videos. Continue to check in with us. Please check in on our YouTube video as well.